Ooh, and I'm feeling good.
Hello everyone and welcome to Brands Hatch. Just behind me, just over there, we've got a classic Formula 4 2000 which we're going to have a look at. We're going to talk to the driver, find out what it's really like to drive.
Yeah, my name's Oulton Park. I've got a Formula 4 2000 SF81. It's Reynard. Well, I started in karting probably about 8 years ago. Did a couple of seasons of karting, my dad and myself. Yeah, went from there really, and eventually the karting got a bit too expensive, and then, believe it or not, we got into this, and it's cheaper to run a racing car than it was to go karting. A friend of mine tipped me off of the car that was coming up for sale. He actually raced in the HSCC for years. Told me about the car, and we went and met the chap who had the car for sale. But obviously it was his pride and joy, so he wasn't just going to part with it too. He didn't want to part with it, so we went and had a chat with him, and yeah, we agreed a price and took the car and got to work on it. Funnily enough, we did have a race at Snetterton, and a friend of mine, Callum Grant, his wing came off, and I think it was dropping down, and it came off, and I think he actually set his fastest lap when his wing came off, because obviously he had no drag, and Snetterton's Struxton, sorry, and because Struxton's a really fast track, and the onboard footage was quite funny because I was behind him, his wing come off, and you see his wing flying through the air, and you're dodging it, but yeah, it does make a difference. Obviously you can play around with the wing and lift it up and down depending on what track you're at. So much history in the historic racing, which is brilliant. Obviously the guys that you race with have raced all over the world, and some of the guys that race in this, they've raced in period. And it's just brilliant to know that you're racing against these guys that have been there, done it, and the stories they tell and everything. Because we all at night sit around and have a barbecue or whatever, and it's always nice to have a chat to them and hear what they've got up to in their lifetime of racing, and how the thrills and spills. It's really good. Classic. It's nice to get to a race weekend and see the old cars and see what's going on. It's nice to see the cars out there. A lot of the time we never actually get to see any racing because you're always working on your own car. Yeah, it's good to see the cars that are out there, and like I say, they don't take them just for a walk in the park. They drive them really hard, as hard as they can. And it's great to see. They're used to the full potential. Some absolutely brilliant drivers out there, and they are great to watch. And so it was a good weekend. Of course, I mean the worst thing is the fuel bill getting here, because obviously you have to travel quite a long way to get here. Entry's quite expensive, but then you've got to remember where you are and what the guys behind the scenes do for it all, and the organisers putting the event on. Obviously they have to hire the track for the weekend and then make sure that everything covers the bills. Other things really, I mean, providing you keep the car on the black stuff, it's not too bad. You have your tyres obviously deteriorate, your brakes and fuel. Other than that, if you have a good weekend, it's not too bad. Paddock corner here at the end of the start-finish straight, it's a really exhilarating corner because you come around the corner. As you come around the corner, you sort of a bit of an adverse camber, and the track drops away to the bottom, and you've got a gravel trap looming up quickly on the outside. And you've got to have confidence knowing that when you get to the bottom of the corner, the compression of the car grips, so you're sort of sliding towards the edge of the track, and as you hit the bottom it compresses and grips, and you're exiting the corner as quick as you can really. Racing, let's say the lads that come out, they do give it their all, and I mean, there's Tom Smith up there, runs TS Historic Racing. He's a fantastic driver, and he's really brought the Royal car on leaps and bounds that he sort of worked on over the season, and he won the championship last year, beat me by 500th of a second, which was fantastic year, brilliant racing, and yeah, hats off to them. They engineered the car. I say it's Formula 4 2000, but theirs was a Royale, different make, and they dialed it in absolutely fantastically, which was a credit to them. But say we raced that close. I mean, on times we were racing here, and we actually the wheel pins that you saw Dad pulling out the wheels. I think I'd lost 2 wheel pins. He'd lost 2 wheel pins. We've been that close, wheel to wheel racing. Yeah, but again, you give each other millimetres and say you allow each other that little bit. It's historic racing. It's not do or die. You're not here to win the world championship. You're here to have a good time, and obviously you don't want to bend your car. So let's say you race as hard as you can, but you do give each other that little bit of space. And say we've had fantastic races, and you can exchange places numerous times in a lap, and when you get out of the car, big grin on your face and fantastic racing.
Andrew Storer, what an eventful race that was. First lap, of course, you're off on the grass. The last lap, you were coming through for third.
Learned a lot over the few years that we've been doing it, and without Dad I couldn't do it. It's kind of just constantly going over the car, just checking it, and racing cars are a pain in the backside for taking themselves to bits. You can, I'm sure if you left one in the garage, you come back to a year later and there's be a box of bits on the floor. Obviously the vibrations that go through them and the stresses and everything that you put the car under, nuts and bolts come loose and things like that. But yeah, it's always good to check everything. Yeah, quality was good. Car went well. Tyres were obviously greasy to go out there to start with. They seemed to take a bit more to bed in. A few more laps, but obviously cold. Sort of, there was a bit of a damp line out there. Yeah, the car went well. It felt well. I think we've qualified in pole, so that's really good. Which is a good start to the race. So we'll just have to see what pans out in the race.
So the race is about to get underway. As you can see, the driver just over there is just getting ready to go out. So we're going to go up to the assembly area with them.
See what we can do.
And get a nice shiny trophy.
Try our best.
So that's the Formula 4 2000 race over with, and fantastic news, he won. So started in pole and actually won. So we're going to go back, have a chat with him and see how his race went.
That was a nightmare.
Well done.
My throttle was stuck on, so I had to drive it on the on-off switch.
Really?
Yeah.
And you still, where did you come?
I won, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a bit scary, put it mildly, going through paddock there, flat out, having to rock it on and off on the on-off switch, but we got there.
Blimey, that's absolutely fantastic.
So
Must be over the moon with that one.
yeah, no, I could see I got a bit of a good getaway at the start, and I could see Tom lubing up on me, so I was just trying my best to keep the car under control, but it was just a nightmare. So see what's to do now, see what's to mend.
So it looks like the problem is the throttle cable has partly snapped, so it's probably got twisted or something further up, so the guys are going to have to replace that before the next race. Going to be the final race of the Formula 4 2000. So again, after a brilliant win in the first race, he's now going to be in pole, so we're going to watch everything from this absolutely amazing vantage point up there.
Glaswell, number 77 David Walton, 18 and 77, further back from that 63 Eric Bailey and 33 Richard Atkinson Wills, and that's as far as we can go. The red lights go out there and away go the Formula 4 2000s. Good start from Andrew Park, who's been the dominant force in the championship so far this year, but Tom White, not a bad start at all there, where he quickly tried to dive to the inside line at Paddock Hill Bend to get through. but has to settle back down into second place. Graham Ridgway is there in third, and his big rival within the second place of the championship is Andrew Storer, just behind him on track, which he'll be trying to keep at bay for the next 15 minutes or so. Down towards Graham Hill Bend on the grass, just being forced out there with probably Andrew Storer. Gets it back onto the tarmac though, powers on, and in the end only lost about 2 or 3 places, but of course, if you go to a corner like that, you can't get your optimal. Is finally onto the rear now of Graham Ridgway. They've got 4 cars ahead, which I think they may just come across on the final couple of corners here. So this is for the final podium position within this historic Formula 4 2000 race. On towards 30 they go. Meantime, Andrew Clark comes to the line for a second victory of the day here at Brands Hatch. He takes the honours, and it's going to be by a good 15 seconds or so. Tom White comes through. Hopefully that one was a little bit less eventful. No throttle problems?
No, it was it was a lot better, yeah. Throttle that worked was certainly a benefit, but yeah, it's all panned out well.
Just worked nicely, you kind of just lap by lap extended that margin.
Yeah, the car's been really strong this year. We've got the engine sorted out and the setup's been really good, so I've been really pleased with the way it went. And this is my last race of the season, so I'd just like to thank everybody for all they've done, especially Alan Morgan for the HSCC and everything that they all do for us. And all the guys that we race against, they do a brilliant job and always here to help us out, and I'm also like to thank my dad for riffing just for me.
You've gone out on a high, well done, great weekend.
Thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Andrew Clark. Second place, Tom White.
Alright, thank you.
Pleased with that one.
Yeah, it's good, the car went a lot better. Well, obviously with the throttle cable it always helps. But yeah, no, it's good, enjoyed it. Alright, you got a bird's eye view, did you?
Yeah.
That was good. It's all panned out well.
Good weekend all in all then?
Yeah, cracking. Well, like I say, it's last race of the season, so it's nice to finish on a high.
Yeah.
So, get it ripped to bits now, ready for rebuild over winter.